Good day, folks, and welcome to Hippie in a Race Car. As you can tell from the title of this, I finally won a race. I've been sim racing for years, and I mean, it's easy to beat the AI, but in terms of humans, I always get super nervous when I'm doing well, and I end up screwing things up, inevitably. Today was a different story. So this was the first race. This was not the one I won. Started second. I almost ended up on pole, but I kind of botched my lap a little bit. The last corner going into the back straight full throttle section, lost a little control, and I lost a chunk of time, probably about 6 or 8 tenths. Ended up starting second. I'll never understand quite how that happens. Dude literally just ghosted through me instead of having to go around me. I don't know how that's possible. I gave the guy in first a little space going through Eau Rouge to make sure I didn't hit him, and the guy behind me apparently didn't do the same, and then he just went right through me. And then he hit me. And that was the end of that race. I ended up going from second down to 12th, I think. This is the end of the race where I'd clawed my way back to 10th. Is what it is. But it sucked, and it was extremely frustrating. And I thought, alright, I know I've got a pole lap in me, I'll just have to make sure that I don't screw it up, as I did before. So, here it is. This is me qualifying, hoping if I can get on pole. My goal was start at the front, have a good start,
Still beat
stay there. Sounds easy, doesn't it? So I managed to... This lap was actually pretty darn good. This was definitely the best lap I've ever done around Spa in a Group 4 car. I'm using the Ferrari Italia. It's lovely for my driving style. It doesn't oversteer. It doesn't understeer horribly badly. I mean, it does a little bit of either, but it's nice and stable. It's got good gearing, so you can use the gears for turning a little bit in the super tight corners. First gear gives you a nice rotation, then back into second for the acceleration. It works beautifully. So I'm still about the same distance behind my Ghost. I usually start my Ghost about 2 tenths in front of me, and I'm about the same distance behind at this point. So I'm thinking if I can just not screw up that lap, or that one corner, I'll do great. I'll actually have that time in hand, and I got a good chance of being on pole. Ripping down the hill to another corner I can't remember the name of. I really have to start learning the names of these corners, because this is the corner, and instead of whatever the name of it is. This next one, no name as far as I know, has never been my strongest. I didn't do too bad through there. I did last a little bit, but not horrifically so.
I can keep this up.
And then up to Pouhon. I think this is the best I've ever done Pouhon in this car. It was managed to maintain speed without going wide.
That's better. Much better.
And then just kept going. It was lovely. Down into the high-speed chicane, braking just before the 50 marker. Third gear, so it's not, I mean, second gear is the engine's about to blow up, so it's definitely a third gear corner. On the gas as early as possible. This was the corner I screwed up in my previous qualifying. I was a little bit more careful coming through here, but I thought, okay, should be okay. And then down through here, I always lift for rotation of the car, because going wide there, your lap is done. And then this long straight. I'm looking for the Ghost. Turns out he was right beside me. I was looking behind me and he was right beside me, but it was back enough that I thought, okay, I've made up a few tenths, probably about 2.5 or 3 tenths, so far so good. Came through there fairly quickly again. Nailed my braking point into the bus stop. Absolutely freaking horrifically bad. No, I overcooked it a little bit. Not too bad though. Managed to get out, again, first gear for the rotation, second gear, nice acceleration. I came in with a 233.6. My best before was, as you can see, a 234.4. I thought, all right, that gives me a decent chance of being on pole.
Not the thing. Look at me.
Et voila,
Front of the line.
by a second. Thinking, okay,
Do this.
let's try this. Let's see how I can do it. I'm already nervous at this point because I'm starting in the front. But if I can get through the first couple of corners without getting punted into oblivion, I think I got a chance.
I'm rather nervous, I have to say. Started on pole once.
Funny thing with a rolling start on this particular track is if you're down below 10th or 11th place, you start before the bus stop, which means you have to do the bus stop at the beginning of the race. And you end up having to do it 4 times in a 3-lap race instead of 3 times, which sucks because it's really slow.
Slightly different.
So here we go.
All right.
foot to the floor. All I need to do really is get the breaking point right for La Source. And it's about 70 meters is when 70 yards, 70 meters, whatever that is, when I hit the brakes first, back into second, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm about 3/4 of a second ahead, but Eau Rouge is not my strongest. I love the corner. It's so fun, but it's not my strongest part of a track. And I did release the throttle a bit for the proper rotation so I wouldn't get a penalty at the top, so I wouldn't go outside of the track limits. So you can see my rival's catching up with me. I go defensive. You can see in the bottom right corner, you can see he's behind me. He goes wide, brakes at about the curb, roughly, and managed to keep him behind me. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, so far so good. First battle won. Lovely corner. I love that whole section there, and I managed to do it fairly well. He's still right behind me. So we're down into this corner again for not a bad run through there. Got on the throttle fairly early, and then No Name. I did not too bad. A little wiggy going through there, but not too bad. I'm still ahead, half a second. He's still behind me. At this point, I'm just focusing on not making any mistakes. I say that like I'm thinking I'm going to make a mistake, and I'm not. I'm actually focusing on just keep driving. That was a bit terrifying, and car got a little bit unstable, but I managed to keep it straight through the high-speed chicane. Those blue things, those blue bollards, thankfully they're on little elastic things so that you can knock them over, they still stay there. And then through here, a little bit earlier on the brakes than I wanted to be, but not bad. Gave me a good run through here, and again, I released the throttle a bit. Nice run through here. He's still, 6-7 tenths behind me, and I'm okay. This next corner, I release a little bit to make sure I don't overcook it, or at least a bit too much. And he starts catching up with me a little bit more. Okay, no problem. Braking right around the 130 mark or so. Perfect into the bus stop chicane. Onto the gas nice and early, and lap 1 complete. I'm still in the lead. Now I'm starting to get really nervous because I'm not used to being in the lead. Any league races I've been in, if I've ever been towards the front, I start getting so nervous that I have to actually flex my braking foot. You know, my one foot's on the throttle, the other foot's on the brake, and I have to actually move it to keep the blood flowing kind of thing, because I'm starting to shake and freak out. Wasn't as bad this time. Second time through Eau Rouge. Got a nice run, bit of a bounce there, but I managed to keep it in bounds. And I didn't get a penalty, which was awesome. I was wondering if it was going to appear as I was going up the hill, but it didn't, thankfully. And still quite close. Brake just before the curb to be safe. Carrying the speed through these beautiful flowing corners. I love this section. Just as I come around this corner, I end up with an itchy nose. At least I didn't have a helmet to contend with. Dude is literally right behind me, and he's following me the whole time. Through here onto the grass, the Ferrari does have a tendency to oversteer a bit if you've got tires on the grass. Obviously, 2 tires are tracking more than the other 2, so that's expected. But it kind of helped in terms of getting the rotation around there.
All right,
back to Poulan. Again, I got a little cautious, slowed down a bit more than I needed to, but again, I didn't want to go wide. You can see I didn't even come near the outside curb. I never touched that inside curb. It's treacherous. This was, again, freaky. Me going, keep it on the track, oh my god. Through the high-speed chicane, nice and steady. Not going as fast as you can go, but maintaining the speed that I need to keep ahead of my rival behind me. Like 3 tenths, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, something like that. Through here, this got ugly. This was potentially the end of my race. Until I'm freaking out. I didn't even take my foot off the gas. I'm like, no, I'm just going to go, because worst case, I lose. Thankfully, I got away with it. Nice line through here, start nice and wide, let off the gas. I wasn't going as fast because of that, because of the beginning of that, so I just dropped it into 5th for better acceleration out of there. Braking at around 130. and nailed the bus stop again. Bit of a bounce, but not too bad. Get the car straight, back into second. All right, 2 laps done, and I'm somehow still in the lead. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, all I got to do is one more lap, like I've been doing, and I got this in the bag. Down toward Eau Rouge, and I'm starting to put some time between me and my rival, which was wonderful because going through Eau Rouge, if he's right behind me, I have to push, and that is where I can start making mistakes. Got a lovely run through here, no problem whatsoever, and putting some more time between me and my rival. Up the hill, braking at the just before the curb there, and getting the rotation in, hugging the curbs a little bit, but not crazily, because they do bounce you. That curb on the left there is a bit dangerous if you hit it, because it can cause you to slide a bit, which ruins your entry into this section. Come in nice and fast, keeping it on the track that time instead of going all over the curbs. And now there is a little over a second between me and the person behind me. And I come through no name quite nicely, so I'm doing all right, and I'm starting to think I might actually have a chance here. I think he might have fallen back into the clutches of the person behind him, because that's where I'm now a second and a half up. And climbing. Comes and goes depending on the corner I'm on. High-speed chicane, again, hugging that curb nicely for rotation, or for entry into this one. On the gas, as early as I dare. Come down the hill towards this corner that has been kind of the bane of my existence a few times. As you see, I missed the apex, but I got away with it. Had a nice run through here. Let off the throttle for rotation, back on the throttle, and I'm now 2.5 seconds up, thinking I have the fast left turn and the bus stop. This is about where I'm starting to think all I have to do is this corner and the bus stop, and I'm good. That corner went well, no problem whatsoever. Nailed my braking point going into the bus stop. Nice and smooth, good rotation. Watch my face.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Can you tell it was my first win?
Thanks, kitty cat. You're good luck.
My cat gives me luck. She sits on the back of my chair when I'm racing. I finally won a race. There you have it, folks. The best I've ever done through Spa, 3 laps without making any huge mistakes. As it turns out, up by 5 seconds. I was
Plus pole position.
thrilled
I think I
with
still
that.
had the fastest lap at the end.
Absolutely the
Makes it a nice hat trick.
most amazing race I've had in any game, frankly. And I was
That
pretty happy with that.
was awesome.
Pole position, clean race, and the victory. Yeah. Well, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and have an absolutely awesome day. Peace.